this is so cringe, and it sounds so cringe, but even asking your best friend, like, how do you see me? And we would never do that.
Trigger warning. The following program contains material that could be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences, including depictions of childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and depression. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Jambo Radio. I'm your host, Agatha Kabera. Guys, you can catch us live on Jambo Radio Scotland on Facebook. You can also join us on the website www.jamboradio.co.uk. And if you want to join in the conversation, you can call us on 075 42 002891. Hi guys, how's your week been? I have my special guest here, Fina, my babe. Hey Fina.
Hey girl, what's up? How are you?
I'm good, my love. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a bit of a week, but we're here, so it's all good.
I know, right? It's been a long week. It's been one of those long weeks.
Very long week.
I'm so happy to finally have you in the studio.
You. And it's been a long time coming. I know. Finally.
Yay. Yeah. Fina, do you want to introduce yourself to us?
Sure. So my name is Fina. My full name is Josephine, like you put in the poster, so that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, my name is Fina, and I'm an occupational health and public health nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Rwanda, but then I've also grown up in Glasgow.
Okay.
I'm excited to be here.
Yay! I know. By the way, guys, Fina is a co-founder of Baba Yangu Foundation as well. I just want to put that in.
I forgot to say, yes.
It's okay. But yeah. So guys, today's topic is loneliness. As you guys know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And from the 9th to the 15th of May is Mental Health Awareness here in the UK. So, us at Baba Yangu this week, we have been talking about loneliness, like what loneliness is, how you get affected by loneliness, how to get out of loneliness. And of course, I have Fina here. She's a public health nurse, occupational nurse. So she's here to, for us to just have this conversation and for us to just clarify exactly what loneliness is. So we're just going to kind of jump into it. So Fina, what is loneliness?
So loneliness is the feeling that you get when you're not having enough social interaction or meaningful social relationships. I like to describe it as, for people who have relationships, it's the difference between having relationships that you have and having the relationships that you need.
Okay.
So that's how I like to describe loneliness.
Yeah. Would you say loneliness is an emotion or it's more of a feeling?
So it's more of a feeling.
Yeah, it's
more of a feeling. So emotions are like sadness, anger, all that type of things, but it's more of a feeling, something that you feel because of maybe the emotions that you felt. Which maybe someone has put upon you or things that you've gone through that have caused that.
I'm trying to, have I felt loneliness?
You definitely have. Everyone in this world, unfortunately, has had a time where they felt lonely.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Definitely. I have felt loneliness. There's no way I can lie.
I have to say though, loneliness it's normal. It's normal to feel lonely from time to time. That's just a normal human reaction and feeling. Yeah. It's when the loneliness lasts for a long time.
Then it's
when it's persistent and when it's making you feel like something is wrong. Or I'm alone in this world that's when it becomes a problem. So loneliness on its own every now and then because maybe you're at uni or you've moved away, something like this. These are normal things to feel lonely. Yeah. But when it's persistent and you're constantly feeling lonely, especially when you're in a crowd of people, that's when you start paying attention to yourself and asking what's going on, what's deeper.
Yeah, because that was actually going to be my next question, because there's sometimes when I personally yes, I have a lot of friends and stuff, but there's just sometimes where, I just feel so alone in some situations and stuff. I mean, it doesn't last for long, but I just get that feeling where I just feel like I'm by myself. And maybe it's because I'm not talking to anyone. Yeah, I have so many people around me, but it really, I don't know, you just feel alone.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think that's the worst kind of loneliness, isn't it? Like when you're surrounded in a room of people and you're like, what is going on? Why am I alone? And I think, like I was saying before, it's because the quality of those relationships are not meeting your soul's need. So everyone has a soul, obviously, and everyone has a need. So as humans, we're made for human connection. We need it as much as I would even compare it to, we need air. We're made for human connection. So when you have relationships or friendships, or either you have a spouse, whatever relationship, whatever capacity, and they're not fulfilling those needs, whatever that need is, to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be loved, to be cared for, all those kind of things, that loneliness is amplified.
So what causes loneliness?
So a few things cause loneliness. So life events, those are major that cause loneliness. Bereavement, when you've lost a loved one, that's a huge cause of loneliness. Moving away to university. So I'll backtrack a little bit. There's a few people who are more prone to loneliness, and I'll get into that a bit later on. But like being young and being old, those are the two spectrums of people who experience the loneliness the most. You know? So like moving away from university, moving away from home, even going to university, that's a life event that can make you feel really lonely.
You're so right.
You know, I remember moving away from uni, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to leave my mom's house. I'm like, let's do this. I got there and halted, and I'm like, honestly, you can ask my sister. We were crying as if someone had died, like, because we grew up in a big family, and we were always on top of each other. So we always shared rooms. We always shared clothing. Like we shared everything. And I thought uni was the time I'm gonna break free. This I'm gonna be me. So they all took me up to uni, and I remember my auntie Chantal actually drove me to uni, and my siblings, you know, Happy and Johnny came with me. And we were just crying. We were crying as if someone had died. It was such a joke. So like moving to uni, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but leaving a safe, comforting, and known environment to somewhere where you're like, okay, I have to meet new people, I have to make new relationships, I have to, you know, build myself up type thing. That can make you definitely feel lonely. You're
so right, because I remember like when I moved from Africa and I came here.
That's a like country. I was gonna get to that as well. Because
it's like you know, when you're back home, you have your cousins, your aunties, like everyone is legit like in the same household, like 100%. And then I came here, and it was like I was like alone. It was just me and my mom. Well, before, like even my cousins, they were like siblings to me, because you know how it is back home, like
community.
You just community. You grow up together and stuff, and then here it was just all of a sudden it's just me and mom.
100%.
Like, what is this?
So I was gonna touch on that as well. The big bereavement, moving away, all that kind of stuff. But one of the biggest life events is moving from city, from place, or country. Like you know, me and you we moved from Rwanda, you know, East Africa. So 100%. The thing about Africa is, the beautiful thing is, it's very community focused.
So community focused.
You're living, sometimes you're living with 20 people in a house, and that can feel, a lot annoying, but there's always that someone social connection. There's always someone to talk to, there's always someone to laugh with, there's always a bit of joy, there's always a bit of banter, you know? So 100% like you, like when we moved here, we were so blessed because we moved here with my siblings and my mom, so it wasn't too bad. But learning a new language, going to a school where you're the only black kid, you know, don't even start with the racism. That's another story on its own, you know. But just integrating yourself into a new society. And definitely the West has a lot of good things. But I would definitely say it's less community based or focused than Africa or other you know, other countries in the world. So I feel like in the West, people are very much work driven, you know, career driven, which is fine, like, but there's less room for that social connectivity that we so crave and we so need, you know. So bereavement, life events like moving, uni, also being a carer for someone. Being a carer for someone is really isolating. If you're a single mom, that's really isolating. If you don't have money, you can attest to that.
I can definitely feel like if you don't have like that supportive system with other people, and you're just by yourself as a single mom, you 100%. Can definitely feel lonely. You know, because already it's like you've got this little person that you're looking after, but then who's looking after you?
That's it. You're giving so much of yourself away. Then there's no one, if you have no one to give that back to you. It's isolating. It is. And then it causes loneliness. You know? So being a single mom, being a carer for someone who has physical, emotional disabilities, whatever that is. Also not having money.
True.
Yeah. So poverty is really, really difficult. True. It can cause loneliness because a lot of people want to hang out. What do they want to do? They want to eat. They want to do fun things, all this kind of things.
Yeah.
And if you don't have money, you're just going to be at home.
You're going to be at home.
And there's only so much if you have friends that they can support you with, So.
And also, like, sometimes you just feel like you don't want to depend on someone, especially 100%. Now, like with, the pandemic and everything, like a lot of people can't even meet the basic needs. And
that's it.
Because you're not so used to that can kind of
isolate you. And another thing, talk about the pandemic, like for people who are so used to social connectivity, when it was lockdown, we all lost our minds. We were crazy.
Girl, that's even
I remember talking to you at one point and I'm like, I'm just losing it. I can't cope. So it was working from home and then lockdown and then an hour of exercise. Do you remember? It was like
it was a lot.
That was one of the most loneliest periods.
I ain't gonna lie. You're right. It was a lot.
If you didn't have family, I can't even imagine that kind of loneliness that you would have felt and the impact that would have had on your mental health, which we're going to talk about later, how loneliness can affect your mental health. But lockdown was a massive one.
Because I think that with lockdown, what made it so even hard is the fact that you couldn't even go meet anyone physically.
That's it. And there's so much contact you can get from FaceTime or WhatsApp.
You understand? So like it was definitely difficult. I personally found it difficult.
I hated it so much.
So my next question would be: is there? Hold on.
No problem. Take your time.
Are there people who are more likely to suffer from loneliness?
Yes, for sure. So like I was saying earlier on, younger people and older people are more at risk of suffering from loneliness. Younger people, for a lot of reasons, you're becoming a teenager, your hormones are kicking in, whatever reason, and there's bullying that comes into things, and then there's growing, and then there's school. There's so many changes that happens when you're younger.
Your emotions, you're not even sure how to regulate.
And then on the flip side, when you're older, the elderly population, it's horrible. Loneliness is killing the elderly.
Honestly,
it's killing.
I get
killing, it. It's 100% killing the elderly population. So they're not working anymore. Either affected by mobility issues or cognitive issues that can, see them being dependent and go out. And, some elder people are so lucky because they have social clubs, they have family. But some just don't have that at all. And there's evidence to show that actually loneliness, it affects your cognitive it affects your cognitive cycle. So you're more prone to dementia, you're more prone to so many illnesses. So
I absolutely know
those two groups for sure. But then there's also people who have experienced trauma, like people who have the diagnosis of PTSD, people who have depression, bipolar, all these kind of mental health conditions. Obviously minority groups, so black, that BAME category that we like to, black, Asians, minorities, any minorities, they're more prone to experience loneliness. And also the LGBTQ community as well, for sure. They're more prone to experience loneliness
as well. You said you wanted to talk about, remind me, there's a question that I asked you and you said like, I'm going to get back to that.
Oh, so is it when we said how loneliness affects your mental health?
Yeah.
So being lonely on its own is not a mental health condition. I have to clarify that.
Okay.
But it can lead to a mental health condition. And when you do have a mental health condition, you're more likely to be lonely. So I'll speak about the first one. Loneliness, like I said before, on its own, from time to time, normal. Okay, but when it's persistent and when it's something that is haunting you, let's say,
ongoing.
When you feel like I'm alone in this world, like what's the point, all that kind of stuff, it can lead to depression, anxiety. It can lead to so many mental health conditions, and like I was saying, like even dementia. And apparently research shows like it can be compared to smoking. Even it can have it's so harmful for you that it can be compared to smoking. It has risk of stroke. It has risk of cardiac disease. No one can even notice that. Not a lot of people know that, but it's so harmful for your health, your physical and your mental health.
I don't know, I've never even thought about loneliness like this. I really haven't. Like, I guess, I don't know, like if sometimes you're like, I'm lonely, but it's something that you kind of get over. Right. So you never think like, if I stay, harmful. It could actually be harmful.
Right, because loneliness doesn't come on its own. And again, when I'm talking about loneliness, I'm talking about loneliness on a scale where it's persistent, like that kind of loneliness that is not, you know, every now and then I'm like, oh, I'm a bit lonely, I need some company. Nah, I'm talking about that persistent loneliness. It comes to those feelings and emotions like, oh my God, like, why am I lonely? And then it comes into, you know, issues with your self-confidence, self-esteem, and then it affects how you look at yourself and other people. You know, you start isolating yourself even more. That's the worst thing about loneliness. You know, you feel lonely and you want and you need that social connection,
but you isolate yourself.
So it's a vicious cycle.
Wow. So what would you say would relieve, like, if you wanted to like come out of that, like, what can you do?
The easiest answer is social connection. Yeah, that's the easiest answer, but I think it's more complex than that. Yeah, like when I like I said before, when you are lonely, you don't want to reach out and be like, hey friend, I'm lonely.
Nah, like, of course you don't want to admit to that.
Not even that, you want to isolate yourself even more. You know, you feel like no one will understand, like and sometimes it's hard because we're talking about these groups who are more likely to feel lonely, but then what if you have everything and then you're still lonely? That's hard. That's so hard to explain, you know. Okay. So a few things can relieve loneliness. Okay. Reaching out to a friend that you know and you trust, as hard as it is, that's one step. Therapy, because sometimes when you're lonely, there's underlying issues. You know, maybe you're suffering from depression, maybe you're suffering from a past trauma you didn't know. Maybe it's something that you need to speak about. Maybe it's your workplace, and you're the only person that looks like you in your workplace, or you've been picked on in your workplace, or, and school. When I thought, you know, there's workplace, school, wherever you spend the most time in, if you're not having that healthy and just giving human connection, it's going to make you feel lonely. So talking therapy, whether it's with a counselor and you're just having just normal talking therapy, or whether it's CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, there's so many aspects of therapy that can be explored to help you get through these emotions. So I always advocate for therapy. You know me, like I feel like everyone needs therapy.
Everybody 100% needs therapy. Everybody.
If you're a human and you've been through something, therapy helps. Okay,
you need it.
Yeah. So reaching out, someone that you know, someone that you love, someone that you trust. Therapy. Social clubs as well. Like I think I'm talking about our community because that's what we experience. But like, how often would you join a social club? Never. Like, we're the worst, isn't it?
I mean, I've joined social clubs.
You try. I've been trying to actually.
I've done those toddler groups.
The toddler group. That's how did that go?
Honestly, like, ain't gonna lie, they really did help me because when I was like first a mother and like none of my friends were mothers.
That's true.
So I definitely had to put myself. I needed it. I had to put myself out there. Right. And I also had postnatal depression at the same time. So if I didn't go to these social clubs,
did you know you had postnatal depression?
I didn't.
Yeah. Did you feel lonely at that point?
I did because it's like I was going through the whole experience by myself, but I couldn't put. No. It's so crazy because I had so many other things happening within my life that I thought the reason why I was feeling the way I was feeling was because of that. And once I sorted out these situations, I'll be back to normal, you know? But it's not until I got out of the postnatal depression and everything that I realized, like, it was postnatal depression.
And one thing I always say is, because I do work in occupational health, like I was saying to my clients, my patients, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't matter the cause or the root, not to nullify someone's experience, but get help. True. It doesn't matter why you're feeling the way you're feeling. What matters is how you're feeling and how it's affecting you in your day-to-day. So when you're feeling any certain type of way, don't make excuses for it. Or it could be this, it could be that. Definitely it could be. But get professional help so that you can decipher, you know, what's happened, how am I processing it, how is it presenting, and how can I move forward. So I love that you say that you didn't know what was going on, but then you tried your best to kind of navigate, and then after the experience was over, that's when you knew, it was deep, it's dark, but we're here. So you joined the Mummy and Babies group. How did that go?
Yes, it was so good. I mean, it definitely got me out of the house, and it also got like my daughter out of the house, because I think like we're in the house like all the time.
Yeah, that's isolation as well, isn't it?
100%. Like I'd stopped doing things that I had lost myself completely. I didn't even know who I was anymore. So just getting myself to go do these classes, definitely, I don't know, it just kind of started lifting me up a bit more. And like even the issues, like then I wouldn't even talk to my friends but then eventually I started opening up.
Right.
And I realized, like, you know, to me it was so big, and it just looked like I could not come out of this situation.
Right.
But by me speaking up and talking to them,
100%.
like, they made it like such a small problem. But then it was like my whole life was just ruined, and what am I gonna do? And
that's the thing about loneliness and depression.
Yeah.
When you don't talk to people, when you don't seek help, all that's happening in your mind is just negative cyclical thinking. And what does that produce is more negative.
Honestly.
There's never a negative thought that'll produce a positive thought, you know?
Honestly.
So, and again, this is not to minimize anyone's experience or nullify the experience, but having a conversation with someone that you know, love and trust. I'm struggling. That's honestly the best thing that you can do at the beginning of everything. So it doesn't cure the symptoms, it doesn't take them away, but it just lightens the load a little bit to say 100%. I'm struggling, and have someone to listen and hear and understand that, and try and help you find a solution or a treatment pathway or something that could help, you know. So 100%. I
feel like another thing, like within our community, like maybe that really affects our loneliness is us feeling alone in a situation, like an issue, like be immigration 100%. Or finance or work or school, racism, and you just feel that's one thing I'll say mostly that loneliness has affected me, when I just feel like there's no way out. You know, I'm stuck in this situation, this problem, and I just can't see nobody to help me, you know.
Like, can you give an example?
So I had a neighbor.
Oh, I remember you.
That one was really difficult for me, because I felt like even when I was reaching out for help,
you didn't get any help.
I didn't get any help. So it started really affecting me mentally, because especially because this was my house. You know, this is
your sanctuary.
You understand? So even the people that were supposed to protect me and stuff, like they were all looking at me like I was the issue. Right. You know, so then it made me feel so lonely. But thank God, like, I could talk to you, you know, I could talk to my other friends, because then you guys were supporting me. Although I think the fact that the situation kept on ongoing until eventually it got sorted out, that's when I felt free of it. But I would cry, honestly, and I would just be like,
it's so isolating. I know. And the situation that you're talking about, without going into much detail, it was someone discriminating against you because of your color. That was the end of it. And it was time and time again. And every time you called the police, every time you got the housing association involved, nothing was done. Exactly. That is a prime example of a situation that would make you feel lonely. You feel like you're not seen, you're not heard, and like you say, there's no way out. 100%. That's a prime example. That one is a bit more complex, because there's different things that you can do to help yourself out. Then one thing that you had to do was sort the situation out. And that's like that was the main priority.
But you know, another thing that I noticed when I was in that situation, I think because I was so drained by them, to where like then I think because, you know, my immediate was like, okay, call the police, go to the whatever, and they were not helping, or they were telling me, okay, do not keep records or whatever. And also that to me just felt like such because I was already so frustrated with everything, and then them telling me that, it just became even bigger.
It made it bigger. Because there's no resolution.
There's no
so in that situation, you had to find a resolution. Either you did the right thing, though, you went to the right agencies, everything else finally resolved itself, thank God. But if you're ever in that situation again, is just make some noise, like honestly, advocate for yourself until you are heard. And also then just get some help, like speak to some friends. Like you did that though. You spoke to friends, even talking to a therapist about how that made you feel. Like racial trauma is real, and it's one of the most isolating things ever, because with racism, if you're on,
especially microaggressions,
that's a different,
because that's what I was getting, because there was nothing
concrete. That's
exactly
it. So it makes you feel crazy. It makes you feel crazy. It makes you feel like you're losing your mind. So when with racial trauma, like, so when someone, like, I remember we were joking about our racial trauma when I was younger, when we came to this country, and they were so, like, they were just racist as hell. Like, they would just call us the N-word. It was so blatant. I feel like sometimes that's easier to deal with than those, you know, is that it?
Yeah.
Like those looks or those comments like, oh, you're so intelligent, oh, you're so well spoken. So well. Do you know what I mean? Those are harder to deal with because did they say out of malice? Like, was it do you know what I mean? Am I crazy? So that's 100% isolating. And those things, the only way to get through them again is getting help. You know, racial trauma is not gonna go away on its own, especially if it's happened to you time and time again. And it's something that is so at the forefront of your mind that it's affecting how you deal with white people. You know, how it's affecting how you deal with other races. Then you need to get help for that, for sure. Not only speaking to your friends, but therapists who deals with racial trauma and how to heal from that. So,
that's amazing. So where would you say people can go, you know, get support if they're feeling loneliness and stuff?
So to get support for loneliness, first of all, Baba Yango Foundation. We're here for you always. And we have amazing resources. We have a good therapist that we can link in with. She herself is an African therapist, so she knows about racial trauma and all the cultural intricacies that affect us and make us who we are. So, you know, she's a really good resource. But also linking into our products that we're doing, you know, like we're having a games night on the 21st of May. Please come. And this is not limited to Black people. This is everybody. It's a fundraising event. It's just a community type feel event. Apart from Baba Yango Foundation, so obviously the Samaritans are amazing too. Our good colleague Lewis is showing us there, and their number is 123116. Is it?
I should know this.
116-123 the other way. Actually give this out every day at work, so you know it. 116-123. Yes, so Samaritans are amazing because it's a 24/7 helpline. They are trained to listen, to hear your problems. They don't solve them, but it's just so nice to be able to say anything to anyone, and they don't break confidentiality unless you're at risk of hurting yourself or others. You know. So they're there 24/7. Samaritans 116-123. That's an amazing resource. There's so many resources. So for men, Calm, if I'm not mistaken, CALM, and you can find that online.
And also even Baba Yango on our Instagram, we do have all the resources, the numbers and all of that.
So I created a leaflet, a booklet that Agatha has helped print and also put on our Instagram and our socials. It's got massive, like a wealth of
everything,
physical and mental health resources. So if you can look at the Baba Yango Foundation Instagram page, all that is there. But apart from that, take it slow. Like, you know, you were talking about relieving loneliness. Take it slow. Take it a day at a time. Understand that this is normal. I will get through this. I can get help. I am loved. I am known. I am seen. You know, affirmations are so important.
I agree.
I keep talking about therapy, but therapy. But affirmations. Just asking. This is so cringe, and it sounds so cringe. But even asking your best friend, like, how do you see me? You know, and we would never do that. We would never do that because we find it cringe, but it's such a beautiful thing. Like asking someone.
I know now. I'm gonna be like, babe, how do you see me?
Oh, I'll be like this, and I'll tell you how much I love you and how beautiful and clever and everything you are. But why do we find that cringe though?
I don't know.
It's a normal thing. I think we're not used to accepting compliments, or we're not used to this praise that when someone tells you, Agatha, you're beautiful.
You're just like,
you're clever.
I'm going to tell you now.
Let me tell you now.
Oh my god! I find it so
I'm gonna tell you now.
You can look the other way.
So Agatha, I think you're beautiful. I think you're clever. I think you're so inspiring. I think you are tenacious in your pursuit of social justice. And I think you're funny, you know? So ask your friend, how do you see me? And write those down and let those be your affirmations. Even if you don't believe it, the more you say it and the more you feel it, you know, you're going to start feeling a shift in how you're feeling. Self-care. Self-care is so important. Painting your nails, journaling, taking yourself out for a cup of coffee. You know, it doesn't have to be with anyone. Just taking yourself out, walking. Nature is healing. Nature is so healing.
I love it.
If you can hike, if you can bike, if you can get out and just go for a walk by the canal or a park
by the way,
near you.
Guys, like I walk every single day. So if you need a walking partner, like holler at me.
She does. Is it 20,000 steps? You do.
No, that, but I try to do at least 10k before midday.
You do, and you always you send me snapshots. I'm like, girl, good for you. I wish that was me, but no, 100%. So nature is so healing. Peer support.
Yes.
So we do a few peer support groups. We've not done them in a while because I think during lockdown it was much more needed than now. But finding a peer support group, if you don't have one, especially when I'm talking about the Black community, because I feel like the resources are much more scarce and less in our community.
True.
So when I'm talking about that, if you don't have a peer support group, try and create one.
Yeah.
You know, and try and say, listen, friend, do you want to meet? And you don't have to label it peer support group. It could just be like once a month you meet, you say, how are you doing? How are you really doing? You know, that social connectivity again, like I was saying.
Yeah.
Also, social media. I want to talk about that as well.
Whoa.
That is a huge contributor to loneliness. Now, people are so...
You're right.
They're so for social media.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, you know, it's great to connect.
You can see all these things and it's just going to make you feel like...
I'm very much the believer that social media has taken away the real connection, the phone calls, the face-to-face meetings. Yeah. You know, you're liking a tweet or you're liking a picture.
Honestly, once you see your friend post, you're like, they're fine. I don't need to check on them.
No.
But that's so fake.
It's so far from the truth. It's so isolating. And with social media, what's happened is because... there's too much I can get into this, but we
should definitely do a topic about social media.
So it's that dopamine, it's that hit that you get when someone likes your picture or when someone comments, you look amazing. So when you're posting for that more than what you're truly feeling or your authentic self, so on and so forth. So again, it's taking you away from your true self and then the true connections that you can make with people. So social media, comparing yourself to others, that can make you feel so lonely. And again, what does social media do? It shows you the highlight reels. It shows you people buying their cars, their houses, their engagements.
Just a bit, snippet.
It's a highlight reel. You do not know what people are going through. So the danger is, and what happens a lot of the times is, you compare yourself to these people. And that makes you feel like, I'm so lonely. Like, I don't have that husband or that marriage or that relationship. I don't have that car. I don't have that house. I don't have this amazing career or this influencer life that is so adored. You know what I mean? So comparing yourself is one of the, like, it's so massive for loneliness. And just be careful when you compare yourself to others. Be so aware that on social media it's a highlight reel. It's not real life. And even if you do know someone that's doing really, really well, you don't know what sacrifices they made to get to where 100%. They are. And you don't know what they're doing at home. You don't know how they're living. So trying to be you and focus on you and your growth every day and one up yourself. Don't one up anyone else. Like yesterday, you know, the old Fina, maybe she walked 8,000 steps. Let's do 10,000 today. You know what I mean? Just thinking about steps. But in all seriousness, even if it's goals and career setting or relationship, all that kind of stuff, one up yourself and don't compare yourself to others, because that in itself makes you feel so lonely. So
I agree.
Just taking it slow, try and make new connections. Self-care, but also social care. I'm so aware that when I say that make new connections, people will just try and make like vapid connections just to have friends. No,
don't make, because you still feel lonely, because you can't really talk
kind of lonely
them.
when you're with people.
100%.
So try and if you can, make friends that share your interests. Because that's what makes us. That's what gives us that joy, isn't it?
For you,
you know. So if it's if you love music, try and join a choir. There's so many community choirs. My church there's a community choir that meet Thursday 7:30, and it's for everyone. You don't have to be of faith. You just have to be part of the community. You can come from anywhere. So Queen's Park Baptist, they do a community choir that's amazing, by the way. They sound really good. So music is your interest, join a choir. If cooking is your interest, try and join like cooking groups. There's a good app actually that my friend was telling me about. It's called Meet Up. Meet Up, and it's like a Glasgow based well, it's not Glasgow based actually. Like I think it's an app. I think it's an app that everyone can use, but then it's location based, so it gives you like interest. Like I'm sure there's boxing or meditation. There's so many interests that you can join, and a few groups are actually free.
Wow.
So doing things like that. That helps loneliness for sure.
That's amazing. What advice would you give to young people?
Ooh, the young people.
The young ones, the school goers.
This too shall pass. Honestly, I just remember being young. It was the best and worst times of my life, isn't it? So being young, I'm talking to teenagers because I feel like in primary everything is not bad. You know, you still have the innocence, and I know. Okay, so I'll talk to both because things have changed. Things have changed. It's not our time, unfortunately. When we're getting old, isn't it? So, to young people, I think trying to get to know who you are, what you believe in, what makes you, what you stand for, boundary setting. I know it sounds like so advanced, but just knowing what is right and what is wrong, and sticking to it. What makes you
be pressured, by peer pressure.
That just always leads to such bad outcomes. So knowing whose you are, like, where do you belong? Tap into your community, tap into your family, if you have a family. If you don't have a family, hopefully you've got a guide, a guardian even. Hopefully you have someone who looks after you, whether it's family or social work, whatever that is. Try and talk about how you feel, because emotional intelligence, like,
need to start teaching our kids from a young age.
Because I don't know about you, but again, in our community, emotional intelligence, so there's two sides, like knowing how you're feeling and expressing that. It's so hard for a lot of African or Black people. It's so, even now, like, as a practitioner, I'm gonna help you with your problems, but me trying to open it's hard. Difficult. I will not want to tell you that I'm struggling.
It's difficult.
So making it okay for the children to feel like they can talk to you, or making sure that difficult emotions are okay to feel, and trying to understand them, process them, put a name to them as well. Put a name to them and move on from that. Don't just stay in, like, I'm in this place, I'm always going to be like this. Don't label yourself. That's one thing I will say. Try when you're young not to label yourself. Be free and open to know that you're always growing, you're always learning.
You've only seen a little bit of your life,
you're always experiencing. So for the young, don't fall into peer pressure. It's just it's a lie. It's a lie, and it's awful, and it only leads to bad outcomes. Try and find people that you trust within your peer groups as well, and maintain those friendships. Try and be you. Don't try and be anyone else, because you are unique and special and beautiful on your own, and 100%. You carry something that no one else can. That you-ness, I call it a you-ness, but
it is.
That
it is a you-ness.
Yeah, that unique thing.
There's nobody else that can be you.
That's it. So try and be you. What else can I say to this? So much advice for the young people. That I wish I
had that. I know, right?
But also, when I say this too shall pass, it will. I feel like when you're 15, you feel like, oh my God.
You feel like it's the whole life.
This life is so hard. It gets better.
It does.
It gets beautiful.
Honestly.
These friends, especially if you're in a friend group that falls out, or you feel like it's the end of the world. And don't minimize that. At that age, you honestly feel like it's the end of the world.
You do.
It's about just knowing that you're gonna make another day.
You will.
It's okay to get help, no matter how young you are, no matter how privileged you feel that you are. And again, I always say, like, some people think that if you have everything, that you're fine. It's not the case at all. Mental health issues and problems and conditions do not discriminate. You can be the poorest person or the richest person and experience depression, anxiety, 100%. Bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever condition you're experiencing. It doesn't discriminate. So make sure that you're getting help. And therapy when you're young is beautiful, because then you're forming these healthy patterns so young that will just, they will keep getting better,
in adulthood.
Again, affirmations are great. They don't cure things. I say to my niece Bella, I remember, like, she was 1, and I don't know why we started doing it, because she started speaking. So I'm like, oh, let me this is the time.
Get it.
So I used to say to her, like, repeat after me, I am brave. And then when she was 1, remember that video I sent you?
Like, so beautiful. I love that video.
She couldn't even say it properly. So she'd say, so I am brave, I am smart, I am beautiful, I am clever, I love my family loves me, I love God loves me. All these kind of things. I can do anything I put my mind to. So you get them young, so these affirmations is so important. But again, just knowing that everyone struggles. It's not just you. It's okay to struggle. But it's okay also to get help. So
Fina, I've loved you on the show today.
Like
you need to come back. You can't be leaving me by myself all the time.
I'll come back. Keep treating me well, I'll come back.
Yay!
I'll come back.
Thank you so much, my love.
Of course. It was a beautiful time. And just to remind everyone, Babayango Foundation has amazing resources to support your mental health and well-being. We have projects coming up, like the games night on the 21st of May, this Saturday coming. the anti-racism school project in September as well.
Yep.
And a few things in between, and always resources online as well.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you guys loved the chat. You can always catch up with the show on www.jamboradio.co.uk. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye.